Hello. It's podcast time, everybody. Sam's in the room. We're sitting down. I got a kid behind me, wacky, wavily, inflatable arm manning at imaginary things. Well, I guess they're not. How does that count? Is that imaginary? I don't know. Almost agreement at gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what we got going there. Go check out happyhollerproject.org. That's my new nonprofit I've decided to swing up for tax purposes. We've got some cool merch on there, as well as we're filling it out still. It's not exactly to its full potential yet, but basically it's a what's what and where's where in the old historic Happy Holler neighborhood that we are a part of. Anyway, we got lots of stuff to talk about tonight. The taxes. Betsy Henderson does exactly what everybody expects her to do. And we'll see how well this fight goes, because essentially there is a single issue on the mayor primary for the Republicans. And I'm curious what you guys think about it. We'll see what Sam says, and we'll go from there. Almost here, everybody. Here we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How you do?
I be.
What's new with ya?
Not much.
Not much. All right, got that out of the way. Oh, JD Vance is in the hood this evening. I don't know if he's staying for the weekend or if he's just popping in and getting out. Apparently he's down in Maryville, some Blount County fundraiser for somebody. I don't know. That's all I saw on it other than... Damn, breaking news. Channel 10 News. A Maryville officer was hurt as part of the motorcade and is in serious condition. I think that's what I just saw. Hold on a second.
Goodness.
Maryville police officer in critical condition after crash during Vice President J.D. Vance's motorcade. All right, WBIR 10 News app. Tennessee Highway Patrol said the Maryville officer crashed with a trooper and was transferred by AMR to the UT Medical Center for evaluation. The Tennessee Highway Patrol is investigating after a crash between a Maryville police officer and a Highway Patrol trooper. Sorry, that's not funny. Left one in critical condition during an executive protection mission for President J.D. Vance, or Vice President J.D. Vance, excuse me. Maybe a Freudian slipped the future there. Officials said both officers were sent by AMR to UT, with the Maryville officer confirmed to be in critical incident. The incident took place during an executive protection mission involving multiple law enforcement agencies. So, yeah. The crash happened the same night multiple law enforcement agencies were blocking traffic as Air Force 2 landed at McGee-Tyson. Multiple sources confirmed to WBIR that J.D. Vance is in East Tennessee for a private fundraising event Friday evening. So we'll see if we get some more info on that as time progresses. Sounds like...
boat to the hospital.
Do what?
Took them both to the hospital.
Yeah, it sounds like I get to like
two people in one car that got hit.
No, I'm thinking it was. It sounded to me like it was one car hit another.
Right.
Like a highway patrolman was escorting the motorcade while a Blount County sheriff's officer was running traffic control at an intersection or something like that. And
yeah,
that's what that's what the inference from that story says to me. Yeah, well, that's unfortunate byproduct of. These super dignitaries coming to visit our small neck of the woods, which ain't going to stay small.
Having on Alcoa Highway.
It ain't going. Yeah,
that place is dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And so it continues that Alcoa Highway earns its moniker. I'm really like I don't know, whatever. J.D. Vance is in town, I guess, for whatever. Multi-million-dollar. Like, how's that work on the finances? As vice president, he gets to use Air Force 2. Okay, cool. But he's going to a private fundraiser, so it's not an official role of his job, right? It's his job to fundraise for some Blount County. So it's probably, I mean, it's got to be.
I'm guessing they're heading up to Blackberry. Be my guess.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's got to be like, so you can. It's got to be like, what? Timmy Burchett? No.
Could just be a fundraiser in Blount County.
Chuck Fleischman.
Kind of the closest place to
Harshberger. I mean, I would think it would be one of those guys. It would be Harshberger from District 1, Burchett from District 2, and Fleischman in District 3. Burchett probably not. He's not in. I don't know where Chuck is. It's probably, I don't know. But why wouldn't he fly into Chattanooga? Because Chattanooga doesn't have an airport like Knoxville does.
Probably Harshberger.
Yeah. whatever. I don't know. So some sort of fundraiser for that. And I mean, it could be a Republican Party fundraiser.
Right.
It could be a state fundraiser because they're raising money to fight this. What's the one we got? The District 7. That's the guy that quit.
Yeah.
And that one's got the special election that's going on right now. Next year.
Not sure.
I think.
Might be going on this fall.
So, I mean, it's presumably something of that nature that he's in town for. But still, back to the original question: is it our role as the public to pay for him to travel and fundraise for his party and people of his party?
No, but I don't think the president or vice president ever flies commercial or anything like that.
I mean, that's fine. They don't have to fly commercial. They can use Air Force 2 all they want. It's just if it's for personal use. The same thing with what's-his-tard from the FBI.
Right.
When he got in trouble for going to a wrestling match to see his girlfriend sing, I don't mind that he did it. I don't mind that he used the private jet. I mind that we paid for the private jet use. Like, they just set it up with some sort of format. It says, hey, if you want to use it for personal stuff, it's a flat fee. Here you go.
Right.
That's fine with me. That doesn't bother me. I mean, the president and the president at least is kind of always working, to be fair. They never go anywhere they're not doing some work. But even that, I don't know. I guess I'd still make the argument. Trump flies around doing fundraisers all the time. But, I guess that technically applies to the vice president, too, is that they're technically always working on some level. Everybody's their constituent.
They're working for the party.
I'm just saying, they're like Knox. We are constituents of J.D. Vance's, and
we're working to save America. Damn it!
Do what?
We're working to save America. Damn it!
But,
we're always on the job. We never quit. We never stop.
I've officially maybe lost my mind on a couple of different things. I went down the rabbit hole. I listened to Elon's whole most recent Rogan, and like the AI scares me even more now, or even less now. I don't know. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like I'm trying to figure out, like in the super uber ragey capitalist version of where AI goes from here. Because I agree 100%. The people that are most excited about AI are the bigger businesses that can replace employees with computers and robots.
Or just, quote unquote, increase efficiency. Yeah.
Right, which is replace human beings. And, there's a great, I think it's a Milton Friedman quote, talking about like these guys are digging a ditch with shovels and stuff like that. And some guy walks up and is like, we got these steam-powered, equipment now that can dig these way faster. And somebody from the workers group was like, yeah, but if we get that steam shovel out here, then all these guys will lose their jobs. And it's like, well, if all we care about is these guys having jobs, then have them dig it with teaspoons. And it's like, and it's a good example of like, at some point, this is how it's gone through the history of technology, is we've always had these points where a significant technology comes in and it displaces a lot of workers. And the theory of AI is that it could displace all the workers. But then for what? Like, that's what I'm confused about. Like, if you're, I don't know, Walmart, and you want to have these, or Amazon, maybe that's a better example because they're maybe closer to it. If you have Amazon where you want these, huge warehouses that are unmanned, and robots and AI do all the picking and stuff like that, and pack it, and then you have some sort of unmanned truck that drives it from distribution center A to B, and then you have the local drone deliveries and stuff like that. So we take all the people out of the Amazon network, or 99% of them, and all we have are programmers and maybe customer service, but half of that's AI now. When you call and complain, it's the computer you're talking to anyway. And so it's like, so they do the job and they get there. It's like, okay, we got there. That's great. Are the prices going to come down? Probably not. But at some point, there's a balance somewhere in this where at some point, your ability to extract money as Amazon from the public at large is going to be offset by the abilities of the public to buy shit because nobody has a job anymore. And that's the eventuality of this conversation. I don't know how else to look at it. Like, so there will be some jobs that still exist, and some jobs will last longer than others. Like the trades, as they keep saying, like plumbers, welders, electricians and stuff like that. They probably have a longer forecast in this transition to automated everything than accountants, lawyers.
Right.
You might keep a lawyer. You might have the guy with his name on the building, but he just had like the guy with his name on the building and some guy that works the computers for him, and that and he gets the brief the AI writes the briefs and does all the work, and then he just double checks and makes sure everything's cool and then goes on. And so it's like we go from having thousands of lawyers to having one. It's like, well, at some point, the only people that can afford to use the benefits of all this AI production grinds down to near zero. And if near zero can use it, then your ability to completely extract also goes to zero. So Bezos, for example, can no longer, like Amazon might be the biggest company in the world, but they're not going to sell anything because there's nobody that can buy it anymore. And so even on a capitalist viewpoint of this AI revolution, I don't know what the correct answer is, because it doesn't seem like I get it on the front end. Yes, if I could do it with computers and technology, it's cheaper. I take the labor costs out. I can make more money, or I can sell it for cheaper, which gives me the competitive advantage, blah, 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 blah. I get that mindset. But at some point, we have to realize that we don't have customers. We're not going to have customers anymore if we keep going down this path. Unless we get into a UBI or something like that. Which may be the only solution. But then how do we afford that? Because these big conglomerate fucks aren't going to want to pay extra taxes for their, Amazon's going to have to pay billions of dollars in taxes so that the government can take that from him and then distribute it amongst people.
Everybody gets free Prime subscriptions.
I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense. If you're a futurist looking at this, square the circle for me. At some point, that's what you're trying to do.
I guess the question is there enough of a market of the quote-unquote haves? I saw something on Vegas recently that there was an interview where somebody was talking to one of the heads of one of the big hotel chains in Vegas, to where it seems like they're more. I've only seen pictures. I haven't been there in years, but it seems like they're marketing more towards the more affluent. They don't care as much about the everyday people coming in,
because they're running out of them.
They're running out of them, but I guess they've kind of switched and geared more towards, and you've got all these high end, clothing stores that line the strip.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been anyway, so
I guess somebody's done some math and figured out that they can survive off 100 high rollers versus 1,000 everyday Joes.
Yeah, but it may be that they're realizing that they can't survive off of everyday Joes can't afford it anymore, and so they have to change. They have to try to go towards that direction.
Possibly, yeah.
Not that they see that as an advantage. They see that as the only option.
Possibly,
and it's and why literally why not? What's the median income in this country right now? Medium individual is only 45, 50.
Yeah.
You got to be living somewhere special where 50 gives you enough money to fly to Vegas and burn a couple $1,000s in a weekend,
right,
and go home. And that ain't gonna, how many of those people are there? There's not many. It doesn't I don't know. I've been thinking about, yeah. I don't know. This is getting it's getting scary. It's getting real, I guess. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a figment of our imagination, because that's the other part that's driving me nuts about it. It's because they were talking about NVIDIA or whatever has $1 trillion in planned investments over the next 10 years.
$1 trillion?
$1 trillion. And their valuation as a company is based on all this upcoming whatever, and who's that and what's not. And it's they're currently a $20 billion company. That's pretty fucking good. But if they can't get to their growth within the next 10 years, where they're bringing in $1 trillion a year, they're dead in the water. Which I think they did the math. Their example was, if every iPhone user in America paid $35 a month in some sort of use of their product, then maybe they get to the level of revenue they need. And I don't know, what are normal people going to buy? I could see it. Again, companies are going to buy it, and they're going to pay premiums because, I'll pay $1,000 a month instead of paying an employee $600.
Right.
The math comes out perfectly fine for them, but does that equate to that long math game there that makes any sense? I just don't see. I don't see the logic. The only logical end is Terminator 2 or some accidental utopia, and I just don't trust the utopia as possible.
That's what I was trying to find. I was reading an article earlier today about AI and some robots, and how And I think most of them are using like the top 4 or 5, what do you call it? Large language models, LLMs or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to say there were some that were like defying, essentially, like what some of the commands were.
And they lie all the time.
Yeah.
Or give wrong answers. Apparently, Sagar was talking about it because he's trying to get into football, and so he asked, like, who won the Super Bowl in whatever year, and it like told him an answer like immediately. He's like, I don't think that's right, and he put in the text box, I don't think that's right, and then it came back. He's like, you know what, you're right, it wasn't. It was this team.
Saw some story about apparently Kim Kardashian is trying to become a lawyer. She was using AI to like help quiz her and help her learn stuff. And apparently it started like giving her like wrong answers. And she asked her like, well, why'd you do that? It's like, oh, well, I wanted you to like figure it out for yourself or something along those lines. Oh, I mean, they pick up after us. I mean, humans are deceptive, so.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, that's what, like, and again, like, it's like AI tends to be racist and other terrible things because if you crawl the internet and you think that is humanity,
right?
If what happens on the internet is humanity, the worst, the best and worst of us is there. But it's certainly not realistically representative, I don't think.
It's like I scour social media and everyone's mean to each other, so I think that's what a human's supposed to.
Right, that's how people treat each other.
Right.
That's normal, right?
Don't you all just lie, steal, cheat?
Cuss each other out, call each other names. Do whatever you can to destroy them personally. So, as mentioned, the one and only Betsy Henderson did exactly what we thought she would do. And she has, this is from, what day of the week was this? Wednesday at about 11 a.m. She posted on her personal Facebook page. When politicians talk a lot, they're usually trying to hide the answer. Knox County voters deserve clarity, not politic doublespeak. I'll say what my opponents won't. I will not raise your taxes. As mayor, government will live within its means, just like families do. We'll cut wasteful spending, shrink bureaucracy, and keep Knox County free and prosperous. Less government means more freedom. Read some stuff from Kim Frazier and Larsen J. below. And so the problem with this is what is implicit in that statement, which I'm sure she doesn't mean to say this, is that that Glenn Jacobs' character is a wasteful spending mayor. And he likes the bureaucracy, and he has kept that in place. What's implicit in that is Ragsdale, prior to Mayor Jacobs, was wasteful and spending money and not being fiscally sound with Knox County's money.
Burchett was right.
Or Burchett, sorry, my bad. Which is even more pertinent since Burchett is District 2. So what's implicit in that statement is that Burchett and Jacobs didn't cut wasteful spending, shrink bureaucracy, and keep Knox County free and prosperous. That is implied in that statement.
I didn't think about that.
Whether she means it or not. Or she's full of shit because there is no wasteful spending, or at least not enough to make a difference. There's not enough bureaucracy to shrink that's left in the Knox County government to make a functional financial difference to the situation we're in. And she is literally talking out of her ass. And again, I call bullshit on that because Betsy Henderson has been in Knox County schools, which is the majority of the county budget. Almost a little over 2/3 of the county budget goes to her Knox County schools that she was the chair of until recently when she stepped out to give herself more time. She is still a member of the Board of Ed, but she is not the chair anymore. So she should know where a lot of the spending is going. And since she's been in politics and government in Knox County through the school board, she knows how to work it. So the question I have for Betsy following this statement is, what? You say you're going to cut wasteful spending and shrink bureaucracy? Point at it. Tell me where it is. Show me. Because if you can show it to me, then I'll believe you.
But it sounds good. It's fake. Most people will believe it.
You don't have an excuse. But if it was me running for mayor, I could say that and be like, well, I got to get in there so I can find it. She's got enough access where she is that she should have already found it.
Yeah.
So again, Betsy, show me, and we'll talk about it. Not to mention Ragsdale. The reason Ragsdale was on my brain. Ragsdale is the one that did this crazy ass balloon payment loan, which it was only like a $70 million loan, but it was from 1999, and we've only been paying the interest on it for the last 26 years. And starting next year, we have to start paying into the principal. And I think we have to get it. I think by state law, it has to be off the books within 30 years. I think is what it is, something like that. And so
It's supposed to be paid fully?
right, we cannot have a loan like, and I don't know, there's some weird, some like structural thing that puts some of this stuff in check. We're not allowed to refinance their debt just to keep pushing it down the line. Or maybe, actually, no, I take that back. They could refinance it, but it doesn't do any good because, this one, for what it is, I guess, maybe. But if they try to consolidate and take all the debt and lump it together and make a new whatever, which is something they've done in the past and something governments often do, is they'll take a bunch of different projects that they took loans out on, conglomerate those into one new loan and have one single whatever.
Right.
You do that when the interest rates are on the floor, like they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You don't do that when we're at a 6.5%, 7% prime rate, as like we are now. Because, you can kick the can down a little bit, but it's going to be significantly more expensive to pay that debt off.
Right.
And so theoretically, I guess they could. So maybe that's the solution. Is Betsy will get us one of those 50-year mortgages that Trump's talking about,
So I was just
so that
thinking
we can
about
pay
that.
twice the interest in the extra 20 years we get to pay. We can pay like $100 less a month,
Right.
but pay twice the interest for 20 more years.
I think it's similar on like car loans as well.
What do you mean?
That there's now like a 54-month or whatever car loan.
I
that
mean,
you can get.
I think mine was 6 years.
Yeah.
Which I was perfectly happy to do. I guess, I don't know. But I mean, like, cars are 50 fucking grand.
Right.
It's like, like that was a very nice house when we were kids. Or when we were kids, like our parents.
Starter home.
I'd ask her, I'd be curious, just when you guys moved here in 95? 93? I'd be curious what that house, what they paid, what your parents paid for that. What retail was on that house when they bought it.
I think it was about 100.
I call shenanigans on that. I mean, I don't know what the climate was in 93, but I don't think so. I mean, you have a much bigger yard than I do, but I mean, it's the same house, functionally. Probably about the same, built at the same time.
Probably.
I think ours was built in 73, 77. Something like that. Late 70s, mid 70s. Anyway, it's, one's got some problems and whatever, but there's no way that in 20, I strongly doubt that in 18 years, there's only about a $30,000 increase between your mom's house when they bought it, and I feel like it had to be more than that. I don't know. We did get this house when that fucking housing thing blew up.
Yeah.
So we were in a good position. I don't know. You may be right. I just feel like that's high. But I know, like, I think my parents' house, what we had in Wisconsin that we got when I was in third grade, I want to say it was like 74. And Wisconsin is a much more expensive tax and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know, 74 is whatever. But I think my dad's also said that was one of the things that they did back in the day that they don't do anymore. When when Case moved us up there, we hadn't sold the old house yet, and they paid some stuff and did whatever. And I think when we first bought the house, rates were like 18%, 19% or something like that. And John Deere Case paid the interest difference of the two houses until we refinanced like 5 years later or something like that. It was some weird thing. I don't remember what it was, but they helped with like that specifically.
I was thinking my dad's company may have ended up buying our old house. So I don't think it sold by the time they had moved here.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that was just one of those things that companies used to do, what they don't do anymore. Well, they might still do it some, but anyway, and I don't know. This is going to be fascinating. Like, to me, this is it. Like, take notes. This is the episode you need to share with all your friends when you guys start talking about who to vote for mayor. If you are strongly opposed to the tax increase and you don't want to pay extra property tax, I understand and respect that. I don't want to pay extra property tax too. I do think there's some very weird issues here where we have to keep going up. But some of this is weird stuff that's just weird stuff that the way the state works, trying to be super conservative. And so at this point, you have to, if you are strongly opposed to a raise in property tax, then you vote for Betsy Henderson because she promises she won't do it. She's going to end up having to, probably, whether she likes it or not.
Are there any other taxes they could raise instead of?
I mean, they could try to do a sales tax increase like the county did, or like the city did, and you see how well that went. And so it's going to be, it's going to be, this is going to be an argument around the truth that the Kim Frazier and Larsen are going to try to tell the truth about it and get punished for it. And Betsy's not, because I ask you right now, Betsy Henderson, what waste, what bureaucracy are you going to cut? You know what it is if it exists. And again, if you don't, if it is there, then you are telling us that super conservative Glenn Jacobs, who is going to be our state senator in a couple of years, and our current representative to the Congress, Timmy Burchett, who is super conservative, was good with it and left it there and wasted our money for the last 16 years. So show me what it is, and if I believe you, then I might vote for you, Betsy. I'm not going to vote for you. I hate you, but that would at least open the door, and I'll calm down my angry rhetoric about you. Because I don't know what she's talking about. What she could possibly be talking about. She might throw some weird pitch like, over the next couple of years, as the voucher program increases, we're going to have a reduction in our needs for Knox County schools, and so we're going to trim the Knox County schools budget. Get fucked. That ain't going to happen. It's just not. The number of kids that would have to vacate Knox County schools to cut down the cost of Knox County schools is illogical at best.
And it's still going to get transferred over to vouchers anyway, which is coming out of the coffers.
No. See, I don't know where that comes. Like, that's one of those questions. I'm not sure how that works. I think the state does
somehow.
Right, the state does it, but Knox County doesn't.
Yeah.
And so the state doesn't send that with their school funding package when they send school funding to Knox County. Or something like that. But still, even that. Okay, so 10,000 of our 60,000 students transfer into private schools. The state is going to send $10,000 or 10,000 students less of the funding formula to Knox County to pay for schools. So, okay, we have 10,000 less students. We average about $7,000 a year per student. So that's $7 million? $70 million? $70 million that will not get, but it's not, it'll be like $50 million that won't come to Knox County to pay for Knox County schools. Or something of that nature. So, okay, but you know, it's still, if it takes $70 million worth of funding out of Knox County schools, if it takes $70,000 in student costs out of schools, we're only going to get 50. We're still going to be missing 20 somewhere in the math because the state's going to send 50 less. It's 20 that we would have spent somewhere. I don't know. It's not. It's just not there. I didn't do that right at all. But the moral of the story is there's no, like, that's not a viable argument. And so where in Knox County's budget? Knox County schools? Probably not going to be able to touch that. Not much. Knox County Sheriff's Office. The current sheriff already sued Mayor Jacobs for not giving him enough funding that the state, so that he can fulfill the requirements of his job by the state mandate. I would assume he or the next mayor or sheriff will likely do the same if they try to cut their budget. Let alone if they just don't. Even if, let me correct that. The current sheriff or the new sheriff is going to be suing Knox County if they don't get an increase in their budget. If they just stay the same with their budget that the county gives them, the sheriff's going to be pissed. Okay, so that's $700 million. I don't know what the sheriff's budget is in total, but it's a couple $100 million at least.
Probably, yeah.
So between those two, that's $900 of our $1.1 billion. Gives us $200 million to play with, maybe. Which is a lot of money, I guess, but, you know, I think we're averaging like 45 miles of repavement a year of the 27,000 miles or something like that of county roads. Like if we perfectly spread out the 47 miles we could do a year, it takes us like 60 years to repave if we did it in a cycle.
Wow, no way, got that.
Again, assuming we don't add any new roads in the meantime. I think the average lifespan of a road is like 10 years, maybe 12.
Just wait till we get to choice lanes.
But every 60 years, well, on the interstate, sure, but that's not, and we don't, Knox County doesn't deal with the interstate anyway.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, you know, okay. We already are incapable of repaving the roads at the pace we need to repave them at. So okay, we'll slow that down even further. That could make a little room in the budget. We can close a couple libraries down. We only have like 6 anyway. It's not like we have a ton of money in our library system.
Guys,
what else?
I just
Our indigent care contract with Rural Metro.
I know how.
No, I don't think we can cut that one very much. I don't like what other budget are we talking? Parks and Rec? That's the only thing that's in there. Like that's all we got left. Knox County doesn't do much, and that's fine. But how are you going to fund what it does do and what it is obliged to do by state law? And what we expect at some level for them to do, even if we don't quite understand why it costs as much as it does? Our effective tax rate has dropped over the last 30 years because of the way the tax law has to work. I think we are of the 8 major municipalities in the state of Tennessee, we are 8th, or of the counties that's what it was. Of the 8 counties that have major metros or major cities or whatever in them, we are 8th in tax rate of all those counties. So Shelby County, Davidson County. I think Nashville has like 4 counties that they count in that math.
Yeah.
Whatever county Murfreesboro's in, Bradley County for Chattanooga, Jefferson County, and that stuff up that way, Tri-Cities, all that kind of crap. We have the lowest tax rate of all. We have lower tax rate than Granger County and Union County. That has nothing, like legitimately has nothing.
Right. They got volunteer fire departments.
Right, nobody fucking lives there, and they have, they've got a couple hundred miles of country road, but that's it. But they serve zero. They have 0 services. They have their sheriff's department because they're obliged by state law to have a sheriff's department, but they do absolutely nothing. And what little they do is like a tiny little bit in whatever the biggest city, whatever their seat is in those counties. And it's like, I don't know. It seems a little wonky to me at this point. And I hate taxes.
I wonder with our road repair budget or whatever, if we have to pay like emergency call outs, like whenever there's bad like ice storm and roads all get fucked up. What if we pay like, a premium basically for them having to come out right then and there?
For like potholes after an ice storm, or are you talking about going out and plowing snow?
For like potholes fixing the road.
I mean, yeah, I think that's the same Knox County Roadworks department that has the trucks that they.
I don't know if they contracted out some of that.
I mean, I think for generic, non-major, I think most of that is in-house.
Okay.
We could spin that off. I mean, okay, and then the other one, like I don't know, like whatever. Which see, I don't know how you like. You can and can't do that. Like the other one, like what's his tart is all peeved about Knox County funding Visit Knoxville, who's friendly with gays. And it's like, well, one, that's the hotel motel tax that is explicit. It has to go to tourism-y things. Now there could be other tourism things you could do other than Visit Knoxville, but like it's like $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year that tax generates, or that is allocated from that tax to go to Visit Knoxville. Okay, cut that out. Put that somewhere else. And going to fix our roads. You can't fix our roads with that.
All right.
That tax is specifically allocated. We can't do that. Now, could they do an ordinance to change that and just make that go into the general fund? Maybe. But, like, I don't know, like, again, like, to beat the dead horse here, like, help me out, Betsy. Tell me what it is. Tell me what waste you're talking about, and then let's go into it and let's see if I agree with you that it is waste, or if it is something we need here in the county, or how I feel about if we got rid of whatever that thing is that you think is waste. But I don't think it's there.
I think it's just a politician making blind promises.
I know, and I'm scared to death. I think I texted the screenshot that I sent to you. I texted to Scott and Jesse, and I said, I said something about, yeah, but the public's dumb, and they're going to believe her.
Right. Like, yeah, that makes sense. There probably is a bunch of waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm sure you can find some, but I don't think it's an amount that would amount to much.
Yeah, not millions of dollars worth. But I mean, again, I guess, this goes for you NIMBYs out there, I suppose. If you want to go about my plan on how to stop growth, vote for Betsy Henderson. Because when you can't drive from your house to work, That guy. Damn it, dog. Why is it got to be right there? Time out. I got to fix this. My dog is just being a dog. Does anybody want a dog? Got a free dog. He bites children, so.
You've been warned.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess, yes, if as I've mentioned, you want to make Knoxville less desirable because you can't, I don't know, drive to work. Or maybe, let me put it the other way. Let me put the more positive NIMBY spin on this, so that these New York lefties that are trying to come down here and destroy our city can't get down the street to check out that house they might want to buy. That might keep them out.
That might be more used to potholes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so if you want to make it so that the people trying to come move in here can't even get in here because the road that goes out to the neighborhood fell off the side of the hill into the ravine, and there's no way to get there. That's how we stop these fucking New York people from moving down here. To me, because we do smoke weed around here, Tim Burchett. Just in case you guys weren't sure. See that he put on his Twitter?
No.
Said something about all you liberals don't want to move to Tennessee. We don't like weed around here. And to which everybody commented, "Yeah, we do." Like his whole comment section was like, "Yeah, we do." So I don't know. Again, Kim, you're welcome anytime. You can call me, text me, shoot me an email. We can sit down and you can break this down for me because I really want to understand what you think you can cut. Because again, like the important part, like the sub important part here is, one, by law, the state of Tennessee, you cannot, as a municipality inside the state of Tennessee, default. If it doesn't matter, everything else, any other rules, any other laws fall to the wayside. If you are going to default, you are obliged by state law to raise your taxes by whatever means possible. So that's 1A. So if, like this stupid balloon loan that Ragsdale got us in.
Right. Can she get out of office before that hits?
Right. Can she make it 8 years?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, that's the other thing with her as a politician in general. Like, what's next for her? Like, I don't know. I could see her in the State House. I could see her in, I think that would be, it's who she'd have to unseat to get there. And I don't know exactly where she is in town. Michelle Carringer, I think, is her state rep. And then I think it would be Briggs. But if she wins the mayor's office, she's going to miss the window because I think Briggs and Betsy are probably on, I think she's in Briggs, she might be in Betsy's. But if she's going to run for state senate, which it's a pay cut, a huge pay cut from mayor, but it is a more functionally powerful position, I believe.
Right.
If she's going to run for state senate, she's going to miss the window. Because if she's mayor for the next 4 years, Briggs is on the ballot this coming year, and probably his last run. So he'll be 4 years down the road from that. So if she's mayor, she'll be on her incumbent mayor run. And I don't think Briggs is going to run again after this one.
What about going up to like the State Board of Education?
That's an appointment. Yeah, maybe she might be looking for something like that under Governor Blackburn.
Possibly. Probably pays more.
It pays more than the state senator. That's for sure. Like, it's a dumb job. Like, I don't know why. Like, you have to be like there's a reason that all the old white folks that are in state house and state rep seats or state senate seats are all old white dudes that already have money. They're all business owners of some sort or something like that. It's like these people are all independently wealthy. Like, other than Pearson and Gloria and all the Democrats.
People are kind of priced out of even being it.
Which that's an interesting.
There's some in the state house that I don't think are as affluent.
Yeah, I mean Gloria.
Yeah, she was a school teacher.
She's not wealthy by any stretch, but which is the argument on why she did that double run, because she can't afford not to have some insurance through one of the government entities that she was vying for. She couldn't fully dedicate to the the Senate run. Plus, she's smart enough to know that that Senate run was a super long shot. And she needed to make sure that she could be in the State House and have her insurance and stuff like that. Because she's had some health problems recently. It's not a slight on her, but, you know, I'm sure the whatever school pension that she gets is pretty slim.
Right.
But she looked well. She was on Jesse's show a couple weeks ago, and she zoomed in. She looked like she looked well. But she's fun. She's always the kind of firebrand. Like, she's fun like that. But, you know, but it does answer it does bring in interesting questions. Like, you know, one, it's set up to be a part-time job. That's the way the State House and Senate are set up because we only run the session for a third of the year. You know, the argument, like one of the jokes that a lot of people make is it's a full-time job with part-time pay. And I think that's fair. If you're serious about it, you're always talking to people, and people, it doesn't matter if you're in session or not. Somebody calls you with a question or concern, you address it.
Right.
You know, which I do. I've called and talked to, you know, I need to talk to Briggs to see what he thinks about this new FDA, or this new sneaking in the pot, the sub-cannabinoid rescheduling as part of the continuing resolution to reopen the government. It doesn't change anything, but it could change everything. It's a mess.
Right.
But anyway, to go back to the original point, I think Briggs and Massey are probably on their, like, I don't know if Massey's going to run again. She's got 2 more years. She'll be back on the ballot in 28. If Briggs is running, I believe Briggs is running 26, and he won't be back on the ballot again until 30. Which I think at least I don't know. I have no real grounds for my thought process on this, but I believe both of them are they're getting kind of old, and I think they're getting to the end of their state Senate runs. I just think that's just the reality of it. So I think the point being is, if it's Briggs, it would line up perfectly that if Briggs runs 2 more times this year and in 2030, that she'll finish her mayor incumbency and then immediately run for his seat. If he runs 2 more times. But if he doesn't and somebody else gets in there, then they will have the power of the incumbency, and it's going to be a lot harder for her to run to that seat against an incumbent than it would be for her to run fresh.
Right.
With Briggs stepping out. Unless that incumbent is uniquely awful as far as District 7 or 5, standards go for Briggs. Which, you know, again, like, I don't know. It seems like it just seems like an odd political move in general to want to go from a mayor to a state house. I think the realistic one would be, the more logical, realistic one would be the Burchett path, go from mayor to federal rep. And maybe that's her play. She can go from mayor, and then we're going to see where our 2 senators from Tennessee and what they're looking like in 8 years. Is Haggerty going to be looking at maybe getting out, or is whoever Blackburn assigned to replace her going to be in some sort of position? I mean, I think if you sat down with if you were the fly on the wall in a smoky room conversation, I think it would be that Mayor Jacobs gets to take Marcia's seat. Marcia does her 2 terms as governor, and then she retires off into the breeze, and then Jacobs is going to be running for president, and when Jacobs runs for president, then Henderson can come up and take his Senate seat, or maybe take her governor seat. Maybe that would line up, actually, I guess. She could be mayor too. She could try to run for mayor, be 2 terms as Knox County mayor, and then run for governor of the state of Tennessee. That's happened a time or 2.
It's possible.
Was it Billy Haslam, right?
What?
Or was he city mayor?
Looked it up. I think he was city mayor.
I always get them mixed up and back and forth, but whatever. Same. 6 or half dozen. If we had my metro, it would be the same thing. I'm here for solutions, people. So yeah, I don't know. Again, Betsy, show me the receipts for your statement, and I'm on board. I will 100% listen if you can point to one thing, and we can talk about whether that one thing is truly waste or not. Find me one thing of waste, and let's talk about it.
I was kind of curious. I thought the 2 quotes that she put up there, I didn't think were bad statements by either candidate.
Well, because you're a reasonable, logical person.
Yeah. I was like, that's the worst she can find of them saying about this.
I mean, because from Betsy's perspective, if you're not saying absolutely not, then you're you're a waste, fraud, and abuser. You're a fraudulent, wasteful abuser.
Yeah.
I mean, from Betsy's perspective. And, she's carved out the spot. The question's going to be, the real question here in the strategy of politics is, are Kim and Larsen going to beat each other up so much that Betsy wins the primary because?
I wouldn't think so. But.
But I don't know. Let's say, for example, that 60% of Knox County Republican primary voters don't like Betsy Henderson. But 50% of that 60 likes Kim, 50% of that 60 likes Larsen. Well, now they're both at 30% of the total vote, and Betsy wins at 40%.
Right.
And that is very, very possible. And because of the differences in Larsen and Kim, because the two, I accept the fact that a property tax increase is likely. It's likely going to be a need to happen. Okay, so that part of the argument's off the table for me. I'm open to Kim and Larsen. I'm looking at Kim and Larsen. This is my theoretical going down the rabbit hole. All right, what's my next issue? All right, if taxes are my first issue, and while I don't want to see a raise in taxes, I understand the logic and the reasoning and the need to raise these taxes in this particular situation. So what's my next issue? Land use. Okay. Schools, yes, but you know how I feel about mayors talking about schools. They don't do shit anyway. That's not their job.
Right.
It's not that they don't do shit. It's just not their fucking job. So let me reassess my hypothetical here. What's my next issue that's actually within the mayor's purview that I care about? And land use is probably going to be the one. And Kim and Larsen are very different on the land use conversation. So if I am pro-developer, or if I want to, again, I don't know, maybe I think this is where Larsen actually meets the functional right answers to a lot of these things, whether I like them or agree with them or not. The functional right answer here is we got to raise our taxes, and we need to be better at managing growth. And being better at managing growth is working on density, getting more dense places where it's appropriate to have more density. We can keep the less dense places as best we can, but at some point, density is going to be what needs to happen. And so what density needing to happen is cope for developer friendly. So when developers come and be like, hey, I got this idea for this super high density housing complex, help me out, Larsen. Larsen's more likely to say yes than I think Kim is. Kim is a lot more, what's the phrase that I hate that people like to use? She's a smart growth. She's a smart growth person, which is really just anti-development. I've never met a smart growth person that isn't anti-development. Kim's probably the closest. I'll give her credit for being the closest. Actually, she's good with development, and she actually has some logic behind what her argument for smart growth. But it's the problem with Kim to me and her smart growth is that it's too expansive. You got to have this countywide initiative that everything's all drawn out countywide, and okay, well, we could say all we want that this part of the county we want to have high density. Well, if the developers don't want to build there, you can't. It doesn't get you the high density there.
Right.
It's like we need 10,000 new units for people to move into. Okay, we'll build them. Well, the developers don't want to build the options that we're giving them. It's like, well,
they don't want to build straw planes.
Right. I want to build. I want to build this. I want to build that. What you give it look, developers have their own set of issues, and I'm not gonna fault them for why they make the decisions they make, but I'm not going to pat them on the back for it either. And so again, so I'm going down my list of issues. I've gotten through my tax issue. I understand the situation that we are in the tax issue, so the tax part doesn't make sense. And I guess if it's not only do I understand the tax issue, I understand the need that we're going to need to raise the taxes. So some lunatic telling me that we're not raising taxes is going to fall to the bottom of my list. So then I fall to my next issue, which is where am I on growth and development? Then it's how I feel about Larsen or Kim on those issues. And I would say that those, if you take them in their own right, taxes issue one, and you have the A-B answer from people on taxes, and then you take development and people's A-B answer on that one, I would say they're pretty consistently well split. What's the word what's the word? It's probably very, quite contentious, controversial, not in the sense that it's angry, but in the sense that if you polled 100 people, it would be plus or minus, 50-50.
Right.
And so again, my point being is okay, Well, if the first thing is about a 50-50 split, so 50% of the Republican electorate is on Betsy because Betsy promises not to raise taxes, and then the other 50% is going to be split between, okay, well, we get why we need to raise taxes.
I still don't want it.
Huh?
I still don't want it.
Right, but I'm just saying, but I get it, and maybe that same thing would be I get it, and so I also get the need to develop or whatever, but, it's like, okay, so 100 people, 50 say anything to not raise taxes, I'm voting for Kim. That leaves us 50 people that are going to split between Kim and Larsen. Or, sorry, I'm voting for Betsy. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a problem. Like Kim jumping in this race is a problem for real, reasonable, understanding of how the future goes for Knox County. I put it that way specifically. It's not that it's a problem for Larsen. It's a problem for getting anybody but Betsy to be the mayor of Knox County. Because whoever the Democrats put up is going to fucking lose. By a lot.
Probably.
Because even if that Democrat is, like, it might be interesting. Like if I'm the Dems, I'm fielding a couple people to talk to and see where they're at, and I would basically try to make as close to a Kim and Larsen clone as I can, and whichever of the Kim and Larsen does the best in the primary and loses to Betsy is the Dem version of them is the one that I want to run against them. Like, look, we're going to have to raise property tax. It's just going to have to happen. Look, this is how we are on development, and see if you can't peel off a bunch of those Larsen and Kim voters.
Possible.
I mean, it's a tall order, but I think I don't know. I hope.
Was the last election that lopsided as far as Republican Democrat?
I mean, Debbie Helsley did decent. She did better than a lot have done recently against an incumbent Republican mayor. But I think it was like 61-48, 47, or what's the math? 61-39, 60-40, somewhere in that. I think it was under 20. It might have been
still a decent split.
Yeah, but I mean, considering it was an incumbent and that's her first major run at anything. She's been around and done stuff, but that's her first. I think that was her first official run for office. Maybe not. She might have lost other races prior. Anyway, Matt, you're not the county. I'll be your Democrat if you can talk Sam into running my paperwork. Matt, send us a helper to help Sam with the paperwork. And I'll run with the D behind my name, and I'm going to be a mess.
I need somebody with a good calculator. One of them AI calculators.
That's right. I'm going to be a real mess. But I'm freaking out because I hate that I know. If I didn't know, I wouldn't care. I wish I didn't know. I'm jealous of all you people out there that don't know. We need to, I don't know what the right answer is. I really don't. Maybe not. Maybe let's just not raise taxes. Let it all fall apart. Fuck it. I mean, honestly, if we hate the growth, it's kind of the right answer.
Let's knock ourselves down a peg.
I'm just saying,
on that best places to visit.
Move down here from. I mean, we did get on some list of best place to move to.
I saw there's a couple places in town that got Michelin stars.
They didn't get stars.
Or they were recognized as having 1-star Michelin rating.
I didn't say. Oh, I thought it was that it was on the Michelin list, but not a starred list. Maybe I misread it. My bad.
I thought it said they got a Michelin star, but I could be wrong too.
I want to go to one.
I used to work at one of them. So, one of them was a place out in Maryville.
Artees.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some. I mean, they had Michelin star level attire that they gave to their grounds crew.
Yeah.
I mean, that vest is a sexy vest. Maybe it's just you. It could have been any vest. It could have been any vest, to be fair. It might just be you in the vest.
They gave it to me to use once for a wedding. I was like, all right, thanks.
Cool. Laters. I just...
I'll shuttle around some drunk people.
Work it. Get those tips, bro.
Don't know if I got tips.
So, yeah, anyway... and not maybe intentionally, as chair of the finance committee, Larsen has been. There was a big chunk of news this week. Was Larsen had Chris Caldwell come out and do a finance thing and just kind of break it down. Like, this is how it's going to work. This is what's going to happen. I don't know how they do it, but Chris Caldwell and the county finance team are pretty good. State finance team and the Secretary of State's office, not Secretary of State's office, the comptroller, Secretary of State's office. They're really good at doing the math. They know how to do the math. Well, but not just on current, but the future math. Right. Like, this is what we expect to happen. We are seeing these trends in new, the population of Knox County is going to go from what it is to this. And if it goes from what it is to this, then this is the tax revenue we can expect. And so,
that's how they write budgets every year.
Right. But, I mean, they're mapping it out 5, 10, 30, 15 years. I mean, they're talking now.
Right, exactly. They've had these numbers for years.
Right. But they update it regularly, and they keep doing it and refining it. Speaking of state legislators, there's what's his face?
I can't say.
I just blanked out. It's W.M. Henry, the clothier, a gay dude that was District 18's rep. That was what got us started.
Oh,
right there. He owns the Tuxedo place.
I can picture him. I can't think. Owns Executive Cleaners.
Yeah, and Tuxedo.
Owns his own
Prestige.
Tuxedo place.
Prestige Cleaners and Prestige Tuxedo. I mean, he was my favorite. In my lifetime of paying attention, he was the best District 18 rep we've ever had. Because he didn't play party bullshit. He voted his conscience, agree or disagree with it. And I think for the most part, I agreed with all of his. Like, what are we talking about? Like, the 3 gay athletes, or the 3 trans athletes in the state of Tennessee? We're going to write a bill that just destroys everything and any possible pretend decency to these people.
Right.
How about who cares? It's just like, when you say it like that, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I agree. How about who cares? And especially when it's like, again, I don't know. Like, I can get the argument for like state schools and like high schools and stuff like that. Insofar as like if we're talking about like scholarship opportunities and stuff like that, like I'd be upset too. But I don't know. Whatever. Seven Islands has got Seven Islands. Have you ever been to Seven Islands Birding Park?
No, driven by.
Sounds pretty fantastic. I need to go check it out. I've never been. Some dude owns like 90 acres across the river that he's going to give to Knox County because it is or I guess it's the state of Tennessee. It's a state birding park. Seven Islands State Birding Park.
I don't think it's a county park.
Legacy Park Foundations is part of the deal. Pete Clausen, which I actually looked it up on the Onyx map, and it's on there. It's on there and under his name. But apparently, he's a railroad fan. He's got some railroad in his family or whatever, and this is land that the railroad had bought and then given or sold to the family. When it ended up not being used for the railroad, so he's donating like 90 acres.
It's a good bit.
Yeah. And then see what else. The other big story is the juvenile detention center. We'll save that. City council approved $100,000 to go to some of the local food banks to help out with people in the gap with the SNAP until the SNAP starts kicking out again.
Yeah, so I guess the Pride Parade was recently. I think they raised a bunch of money for food pantries or had a big like food donation drive or something.
Good. Way to go. Soto Pride or Knox Pride? There's two different
Knox
words.
Pride. Wasn't it just like a week or two ago?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it. They didn't do their parade.
I thought I saw a story about it.
I mean, they did. I don't know. Whatever.
I just had a shindig.
The other weird one that's kind of interesting, and I'd never put any an ounce of thought to. So currently in coding, like duplexes, you can do duplexes in the city of Knoxville depending on the zone and code and whatever, blah blah blah. But you cannot have individual owners. The condo has to be owned by one individual or company. And one of the tenants can be the company or the individual that owns the property, but the other tenant has to be a renter. Cannot be. They can't own it. And so there is a workaround in the current stuff. There is a workaround where you can build it because under condo law, because condos are ownerships. Hey, value check. Under condos, like under definitional condo stuff, is you can own individual condos in a condo complex, but the complex manages the totality of the property. It's a whatever deal, and so you could do that with a duplex where you call it a condo and you own one half of the condo, I own the other half of the condo, and our collective entity that is the condo org owns and manages the total property, which gives us the right to do what we want with ours, you want what you want with yours or whatever. So it passed barely on first reading, and it's coming back for second reading, and a couple of the people that passed it said that if this doesn't get fixed or that doesn't get fixed, I'm not going to pass it. I'm not going to vote for it the second time around. But essentially it's basically just taking it and just going to divide the lot in half and says, we're going to take the shared wall between the two units and draw a line straight forward and straight back to the front and back property lines. And you basically have two parcels now instead of one.
Yeah.
Which is, it does, if I own one half and wanted to put a second story on, or wanted to do a major renovation that completely changes the look of our duplex, and you own the other half, and now you're stuck with this weird, you have this old traditional half, and I have this weird, postmodern Gothic architecture thing that I put together.
Right.
And
steampunk.
Now the other half of your house looks fucking weird. And and then that changes the value of your house and your ability to sell it and stuff. And it's okay, that's a weird position to be in. But at the same time, owning half of a duplex is a starter. It's a better solution than a 50-year mortgage, to make that joke again. It's a real asset. It's a real thing. But at the same time, it's why don't you just build two small houses on one property? Why would I build a duplex when I could just split the parcel and build two tiny homes? Seven Islands, food banks, donation, county debt, Betsy saying stupid things. All right, so then the last one, or the last major issue that happened locally this week is Brian Bivens. Do you know who Brian Bivens is?
Recognize the name.
He is the guy who they pulled from retirement to run the transition for the Knox County Juvenile Service Center, not detention center, service center. That he abruptly retired this week, re-retired this week, stepped down, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, I don't know. There's rumor about it. He did put out a statement. And this goes back to our first conversation of he is not getting the support from the county that he needs to do the job. You want to guess what he means by support?
Money.
Yeah. Because after that report that came out a week or so ago, there's only three things he needs. He needs a nurse, he needs supervisors, and he needs a fence. If you can get those three things and get those in place, it's about as good as it's going to get. There's other stuff to work on and whatever, but long story short, those are the three first steps to getting this place back into functional whatever.
Yeah. He described the facility as neither safe nor secure.
Do it?
Said he described the facility as neither safe nor secure.
Right, which county commission officially stated later that yes, it is absolutely safe and secure.
Right. Well, I think they were well, state regulators have been out there. It's well, when was the last time they inspected it, etc.
It's a mess. It's a mess, and this is one of those that's easy for us to armchair quarterback the correct answer, because I think the correct answer is you sell that fucking building or you reallocate it to other county uses, I don't know, a homeless center, maybe the not quite criminal, but more than just homeless. That little middle ground set that have some criminality to them. Maybe some of the mentally ill homeless that are out there that are truly fucking crazy. Maybe you pull them in and put them in there because you got 125 beds. And so a minimum security kind of facility to give some transition something in place over there, and then build the new 30-bed juvenile detention center somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because there's no world. Right now, one of the things that's happening is they're starting to refuse neighboring counties' kids. Because one of the ways they made a little extra cash was to let the other counties bring their kids. And now they're starting to refuse them because they can't.
They don't have the staffing.
Right, they don't have the staffing by state rules and stuff like that, which how long Bean did it anyway, 50 years or whatever it was that he was running that shithole. So it's like, what do we do it? Like, again, going back to the Betsy conversation. You're going to cut funding to that? It already doesn't have enough funding to do what it needs to do.
I don't know. Same with the county that, kind of basically laid it out. He's like, this isn't like a 3 or 5 month, like we're going to have this fixed in 3 or 5 months. This is like, we hope to have this done in like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So there was like a list of like 94 different things that needed to get fixed basically.
I mean, again, yeah. But again, it's like the solution's simple. It just costs money.
All right.
And when we are starting a political cycle, which is talking about how we have all this waste and abuse, and we don't need to raise taxes, we just need to cut our spending, where are we going to cut it? We're already
We just
underfunding.
need to tighten up our belt, everybody.
We're already underfunding this one. I'll tell you what, Betsy, why don't you put them in your house? Why don't you take all the kids that are staying that need a place to stay for the night? We can put them in the city county building. There's a jail in the basement there that barely gets used. Also doesn't have the staff to take care of anybody, but whatever. That's apparently not important.
It's at least a cage with concrete walls.
I mean, that's the minimum standard, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a shitter in there somewhere.
But I'm just like, I don't know. It just seems like a like I guess to me you can't blame this Bivens character. He already retired once, and to him it's going to be okay. I gotta try to I gotta keep this thing kind of functional for 4 months, and then the sheriff takes it over and I can go back to retirement. Cool. Oh wait, you want me to go till July? That's too long. Oh wait, you want me to go to July and I have 94 items to fix that you're not going to give me any money to fix, and you're setting me up for failure.
Right.
So I'm going to lose here. I'm just going to go ahead and call it a day. See you guys.
I'm going to be a short-term scapegoat.
Right. I can't, like, it apparently, like, whatever the guy is who's taking his place is going to get the new title, but no more. He doesn't get a raise.
Why would he get a raise?
Because he's going from like assistant to assistant. I think they call it superintendent to the superintendent.
Oh, I was thinking he's not going to get a raise compared to what this Biven guy was making.
No, he's not getting a raise from what he's currently making.
Ah, okay, all right, yeah, that's kind of messed up.
And Scott said he called him and asked him, and basically he's like, well, what do you need? He's like, I need supervisors, I need a nurse, and I need a new fence. That's my starting point.
Right.
And if the county's not coming off the money, the county's not coming off the money. Already not coming off the money, not counting the future of their ability to come off any money. And
so they fix like their HVAC and some other stuff like painting and flooring.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like just the top 3 items. I mean, you're looking at a nurse that's going to be a full-time nurse because they have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, but there's nobody there at night. There's nobody there on the weekends.
Right.
And so that's really 2 full-timers, really, if you want to get down to like being able to schedule that out long-term, is you'd have to figure out how to get that to cover 14 shifts. They don't send everybody home for the weekend. I don't think.
Doubt it.
So if it's
you're supposed to be inpatient.
Right. And so like normally I think, in nursing, it's a 12-hour day, 4 on, 3 off. And so you have 14 shifts. You need 4 nurses, 3 full-time and 1 part-time nurse to cover that. They have 1 that works 9 to 5. I don't know how to, and very low starting pay at $50,000 a year. You're looking at $150,000 a year minimum.
Yeah.
To get this staffed correctly. You're talking supervisors, not the regular officers that are already there. You're talking supervisors because there are 0. That's it's got to be at least 3 at 60 to 75 a year, I would think. because like starting pay for an officer is in the 50s, so a supervisor's got to be more than that. So that's another $200,000 a year.
Really staffing with officers, or just I would think like just behavioral health technicians.
I mean, it's correctional. I don't know what the title
correctional.
is.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're correctional officers. I mean, yeah, I don't like. I mean, it's a subspecialty. Excuse me. It's a subspecialty of some sort, but you know, whatever. The regular staff and the supervisory staff, because apparently when Bean was running it, it was Bean and staff. There was no middle management. So I don't know, like who ran the show overnight when Bean was at home. I don't know.
they drew straws.
You know, which I don't know, like as in a management in like in a business owner management kind of sense, like there's different situations where that makes sense. You know, like we run the West Store, we don't have a manager or a supervisor because there's only one person there.
Right.
Which overnight, it might only be one person there overnight. Do you have to have a supervisor and a
Supervising themselves.
or you have, right? Do you have to have a supervisor supervising one person, or can it be one singular person that works that overnight stretch? I don't know. You got 20-something kids in there. I feel like you need to have at least 2 people there. Well, but if one of them's the nurse and the other one's the person running the shift, I don't know. Whatever. You know, so like our quick math, we're already at like $500,000 a year that they need to add to the budget. Add to that budget just to get these 2 basic things taken care of.
Right.
You know, with construction in Knox County or construction in government, offense is probably $1 million. Because apparently the problem that it's not that the outdoor rec area that they have is unsecure in the sense that you could walk out of it or sneak out. It's that anybody can just walk right up to it from the outside. So if you were in and I wanted to sneak you something, I could just hand it to you through a fence.
Yeah.
Through the fence that's there. There's no gap fence. And so they need a secondary fence to keep that up. And then you're like you said, all the different little repairs to the building and stuff like that. Like, you know, it sounds to me like we're looking at $1 million or $2 million a year that needs to be added to their budget to get them up to speed. In a budget that already can't afford it, with a person running for mayor saying she will not raise taxes.
That's our only juvenile detention facility?
I believe so.
Okay.
If you're a kid that gets arrested, or if your mom's beating on you and Child Services comes out to your house and takes you away from your mom, she goes to jail, you go there.
Or sometimes you can sleep in the office of DCS.
Right. But that's one of the places that sometimes overnight stays are like refugees from domestic violence, for lack of a better way to say it.
Right.
So there are some that aren't inmates per se, but that are short-term residents as DHS tries to figure out what to do with this kid. And so, which again, averages like 20 or so a night.
I know, like treatment facilities, the staffing, I think at least for like Tennessee Medicaid, is like 4 to 1.
One staff for 4 inmates or 4 patients per staffer. Which that might be the same here. And so it might be that there's 5 people. And I mean, if you have 5 employees, you probably need to have a supervisor on shift.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable. So anyway, I don't know what the solution, again, you know, it just seems like the basic front end solution here is you have a lot of structural capital work that needs to be done. Fix the air conditioner, get the goat shit out of there, you know, get a fence built. That in of itself has its own paycheck or has its own funding that needs to get paid, on a per, you know, item basis. But then base budget for that facility needs to go up to cover the staff need. And so, like, to me, it looks like it's about $1 million more a year that's going to cost to get close. I don't know what the current budget is for it. Apparently, the budget hasn't changed in like 20 years. Like, Bean just kept running it with the budget he had. He didn't ask for more money. They didn't ask to look at what he was doing. That was the game he played. And he played it well. Now the question to me is like, how is there no criminality here? Is there no criminal like misconduct?
I mean, it sounds like they were having inspections done, that they were at least halfway passing.
I don't think there were.
I think without that,
from some of the stories I heard is that they would come out and say, you have to fix this and this and this. And he'd say, okay. And they'd come back out and it still wasn't done. And then they would write him a new, like, you got to fix these things. And he'd be like, okay. And then he wouldn't. And then they'd come back out.
Yeah, I think it would take a lawsuit from one of the former inmates to rise to criminality. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know who's going to pay for that?
Yeah.
Our tax, our budget, they can't afford it. Because we just pretended it didn't exist for the last 25 years or so. The history sucks. The history of this place and the history of Knox County government at large sucks.
A lot of municipalities kick the can down the road.
I mean, yeah. I guess, to be fair, I suppose that is politics in general. I can do all the fun stuff, and then somebody else down the road will have to figure out how to pay for it.
I can sound good enough for a little while till you forget.
Yep. And then when whatever I did becomes a big problem, yeah, I'll be retired. Maybe I'll probably be dead before whatever mess comes back around. Apparently the penny's done. No more pennies?
Did see that. They were pressing the final ones. I actually asked my bank about it, I think, last week. I was like, are you guys still giving up pennies? And I mentioned, I was like, I got a friend that's a business owner. And I think his bank was getting ready to cut them off of giving out pennies. And he's like, yeah, well, we'll stop when we're all out of them.
So
I was like, but you guys have that change counter. I was like, how's that going to work? He's like, yeah. He's like, I've thought about that too. He's like, I'm not really sure.
Like when they get pennies, they're taking them back to the Fed and they're not recirculating them?
No, I guess the rolls themselves, they're not going to be able to give out rolls because I guess they won't be getting any more fresh pennies or whatever. That's
fine, but they can roll them in house.
Yeah, I just don't think they have that much coming in.
Oh,
I mean, we're becoming more and more of a cashless society.
They got to be coming. I mean, that's to be fair. I don't turn any pennies in ever. We don't deposit any coins.
Right. So they got like the change counting machines, but to spread that out amongst however many branches the bank has.
Yeah, that's a fucking good question. Like, where do all the pennies go? Because we buy pennies. Like, we'll buy like between the three stores, we'll buy like 8 rolls a week. And so, like, they're going out. We're putting them in people's hands as change. Right.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Like every once in a while, Scout will get a bug, and every once in a while, some idiot employee, love him to death. Don't get me wrong, but some employee will break one, and all of a sudden, we have like a drawer with $1.25 in pennies, and somebody will get pissed off and start rolling them. Scout will get pissed off, and it's only Scout, not somebody. Scout will be the one that'll get pissed off, and she has rolls in her backpack, like she has coin rolls in her backpack, and she will roll coins. So every once in a while, we will in-house roll a roll or two of coins. We'll eventually work those out. But I've never deposited a penny in my life.
I have when I was counting my own change, but
that's not true. You're right. I have deposited pennies in my life. As a business, we've never deposited pennies.
Right.
That's not probably true either. I've probably done it a couple times where we end up having, like, I've had people come in and pay with quarter rolls. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that is a question I'm gonna have to explore. Like, what do I do? What do we do what is our policy as a company?
I think I asked the teller, and I was like, do you guys round up? Like, I bring in like a check to cash. I was like, you guys round up? And she
that's what I'm saying.
Just kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, I don't know.
Like, yeah, I mean, if
16 cents, you give me 20.
Right, if the IRS writes me that correction letter or correction check for $72.11.
Right.
What happens? Like, where's my penny?
You screwing me out of a penny?
I'll bet you fit. I ain't scared. I'll pick that fight. But you owe me a penny. Find one.
It's at the bank. You have an account. They're like, well, you can just apply it. I think that's what they even like asked me that when I was like cashing a check. You're like, do you want the change or do you want to put the change in your account? And I was like, no, go ahead and give me the change.
I've never had him ask me that question before. I haven't deposited many checks that aren't even numbers though.
I was just cashing it, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I haven't received a check because like all of our like the only
That was my Facebook check.
your Facebook check. Oh, your settlement?
Yeah.
72 cents, whatever. How much was it?
It was like $36.
Yeah, I got to figure that one out. I got to look into this. You shared that one about speaking of class action lawsuits, the story about the Visa MasterCard.
Yeah.
It's God. I wish I was that good. I wish I was smart, and I don't even know if it's smart. I wish I was just in the position to do some of this bullshit. So you sent me from AP from the Associated Press. Headline was why Visa MasterCard legal settlement could lead to your rewards credit card getting declined. So essentially, I mean, the long and short of it here is that, you know, and I've talked about it on the show before, and if you don't know this already, your 1.5% cashback credit card is one of the reasons why your cheeseburger from McDonald's went from, I don't know, what was the cheeseburger back when we were working there? 99 cents? 79 cents?
Something like that, I think.
You know, that's why a single regular cheeseburger at McDonald's is $2. Part of the reason why is that we are 90% of transactions now are credit cards. And that includes Tap to Pay, that includes Apple Pay. Functions like a credit card, right? And so depending on what business you're doing, the bigger businesses obviously get better rates because the credit card companies care more about taking care of them than they do about regular small business and stuff like that. But essentially what happens is anywhere from 1.5% to about 6% is the company, the business that you spend that card on, that company pays the credit card company for the privilege of taking your payment in that manner. And again, there's a gajillion factors. There's a 15-page fucking application when you're doing a credit card application as a business. That asks all sorts of questions that you can't really fucking answer. Like, what's your average ticket? I don't know. I just started my business. How much do you think you're going to process in a month? I don't know. I just started my business. And so on and so forth. Like, what's your average check? What do you think your max check's going to be? And the reason they're asking this for is their rates are dependent on factors. And so, like, companies like a contractor who does a job that's a $20,000 job and it's one payment for $20,000, or it's like, you know, you set up some financing thing where it's over a couple of different payments or whatever. But, you know, you get like a contractor that's big ticket stuff. They'll set that up in a different way than they'll set up someplace that's a Dollar General where the average ticket's $5.
Right.
Always in their advantage, even though they'll sell it to you like it's better for you as the business. But, you know, you know, some companies will do like, currently I'm still working on trying to update this because again, like we are right now, happyhollerproject.org has a shop that you can order some sweet, cool merch that we were making, to support Happy Holler and the cool things that we're doing down there. And we are using a company called Stripe as our credit card processor. And since we do incredibly low volume, like 2 transactions a month right now, because we just launched it, and I was trying to answer more or less honestly. I was like, I don't know what to expect from this. Like, I'd love it to be, we're doing a dozen transactions, 20 transactions a day, but I have no idea.
Right.
And so it's 30 cents plus 2%. So when you go to my website and buy one of my cool t-shirts, it is $25 for the t-shirt, and then I pay 30 cents plus 2% of that transaction to Stripe for the privilege of taking your money. And that's how that works. And so that's how Stripe does it. Different companies have all these different things, and so different cards have different fees associated with them. Amex is more expensive. Amex is 4 or 5% no matter what you do. Because Amex has better rewards, and Amex is a singular system. They don't go like Visa, Master, and some of the other cards. There are a number of different processors that have contracts to process their cards. Yeah. Amex is the only one that processes their own cards, and it's a plug-in on top of. It's a whole big mess. So anyway, to tell this whole story is your Delta Sky Miles card that gives you 5 Sky Miles per dollar or whatever it is you get kicked back for using their card. That costs the business that you're visiting a higher percentage.
Yeah, I want to say it said maybe 10 to 15% on some of those rewards.
And so basically what small and large businesses have been fighting over, because Amex, Visa are even bigger than the biggest of the big. Like, I mean, what's a bigger company than Visa?
Right.
You know?
It's everywhere you want to be.
Right. And so the fight has been for years now. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. You charge whatever the fuck you want, but I'm going to pass that on to the customer. Or we got to figure out some way to neutralize this, because you can't give your customer a 5% bonus and then charge it to me and then not let me charge extra 5% on the sale. Because that's what they were doing. It's like you are not allowed to charge differently. And they still do it to a degree. You are not allowed to charge differently because somebody uses a credit card versus cash. You are not allowed to charge differently because somebody uses an Amex versus a Master. You are not allowed to charge differently if somebody uses a regular Visa or a Sky Miles Visa. Even though it costs you more as the business to take a Sky Miles Visa than it does a regular Visa.
Right.
And those are all these different programs that they had set up and that had kind of trapped us all in, because they sold you the card and you're like, sweet, I get money back for every time I spend money. And so what all of us business owners had to do and it had to do was start raising our prices on stuff to offset all these costs. And there was a lawsuit a couple of years ago that finally got settled, and it was a long-term, years of back and forth, that started to let us go, okay, fuck it. We're going to add a service charge for you to run a card. That used to be illegal. Like illegal, not just against policy of the credit card processor. It wasn't that Visa, that Avalon, which is a major Visa MasterCard processor that actually has a huge office down here on Chapman Highway. Avalon has a policy that says you can't charge extra to accept our payments. No, it was the law.
Yeah, I want to say the lawsuit they reference in this, I want to say it goes back like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long-term fight.
Yeah.
Like, credit cards are bad. They are bad. They are fucking evil, and they're a scourge of the world. They are worse than fucking they're credit cards. They're worse than the internet and porn and fucking high fructose corn syrup, all this other shit that we're bitching about on and off on a regular basis on, like, the scourge of the earth right now, like apps and our kids glued to their fucking phones. Credit cards are worse. They're worse because it's so fucking sneaky. Like, it's so ingrainedly sneaky. And some dirty shit. Like, I can't remember. I think it was California a couple of years back. When you got arrested in California and you go through processing, they take all your shit. You got $100 in your pocket? They take that and they put that in they don't put the money in the envelope. Like, you have that whole bag of your crap that they when you get arrested.
All right.
Well, they put they put a note that says $100 cash. They put that in the bag. And when you go get your bag because you got released because they falsely arrested you or whatever the fuck it was that happened, and you go get your stuff, they give you a credit card back. They give you basically a gift card, a Visa, Master gift card. Because one of these processors went to the state of California correction facility and said, hey, we'll kick you back X. But your guy, when people are released, you give them our gift cards with their $100 that you took from them. You don't give it back to them in cash, and you can tell them it's safer, it's secure. This way, they know exactly what they have, and it's on that card. But what they're really doing is we're going to kick you back 1%. California Department of Corrections. How many $1 million do you think goes through that place in confiscations from individuals in a year?
I mean, nowadays, I'd say a lot of people don't have that much cash on them.
Well, that's true.
Outside of people getting busted for like dealing and whatnot.
I don't know.
Or hooking.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would say I'd still say it's a significant sum on an annual basis.
Yeah.
And for the California Department of Corrections, it's like, cool, we get some money, and we don't have to hold on to people's cash. We can just we basically put a note on their file that says we owe them $100, And when they get out, we put $100 on a card and give it to them, and that's all bank stuff. But we don't have to have that cash sitting around. That's cool. It's safer. It's more secure for us as a jail. That makes sense. And we're going to get 1% of however much we collect back, which is a terrible incentive for officers arresting people. But whatever. But we're going to get that cash back that can help us afford, I don't know, a fence or maybe a supervisor or a nurse to have on staff.
Right.
Okay, cool. We'll take that. But every day we go more and more that direction, and every day we complain about things getting more and more expensive. It's like, this is part of the reason why. It's not all, but it's part of the reason why things are gotten more expensive.
Right.
Because every business has to build into their price that they have to pay for this shit. Like we used to, we changed it. I finally broke down and gave up. I've been fighting it. I didn't want to do it. I still wish we hadn't done it, but we've done it, and it's so far so good. We've only gotten a couple complaints, but we do a flat 3%, which is less than what we actually pay, but it takes the majority of what we pay in credit card fees.
Right.
And we're talking, I think last year, 2024.
For just all sales, period.
No, just credit card process.
Okay.
Like if you pay cash, you basically get a 3% discount if you pay cash, if you want to look at it that way. I want to say 2024, between the three stores, we paid $65,000 in credit card fees.
Yeah.
Like, who benefited from that $65,000? Who benefited? Like, I mean, you as a customer, because of the convenience of using the card and not have to carry cash. Great. I mean, hell, I personally paid $32,500. My partner paid $32,500 for the privilege of being hassled when you call me and say, I didn't pay that much. Why did you charge me this much? And then having to go dig out your bullshit and find your credit card slip where you signed it saying that you gave me a $10 tip. Then go pull up my camera footage to show video of you signing the credit card slip that you gave me that said you gave me that $10 tip. Yeah. So I paid $65,000 for having the privilege of having to fight with you over what you put on your own fucking card. And so at least that's a little bit behind me. A little bit. I haven't really seen the dividends yet. It hasn't panned out because everything else is going sideways with other stuff in the company. Not in the company, in the industry.
Right.
So since we're on the industry, real quick, not Rand Paul from Kentucky snuck in on this CR that got signed so that we can reopen the federal government. Reclassification of basically a redefinition of the 2008 Farm Bill. Some corrections to the definitions inside that Farm Bill to basically make Delta 8, Delta 10, and THCA legally defined the same as Delta 9. So basically, it pushes them all into Schedule 1.
Yeah.
We have about a year until that actually kicks in and takes effect. What is Kentucky known for? Like, what is something that is a popular product that
bluegrass,
comes
like
out
the
of
actual
Kentucky?
grass, not the music. Whiskey.
Yeah. I think that might.
Bourbon, I guess.
I think you might have hit it. Yeah, it's where you
Horses.
actually get to call it bourbon. I think you might have hit it on your second guess. Like, it's not grass. It's fucking. It's fucking bourbon. I can't. The more that the more down the rabbit hole of the legalities that have been happening in the hemp game in the last couple of years starts to get clarified as all these moving pieces are starting to come to some sort of direction. Big alcohol is very upset. I don't know if big alcohol is a real phrase, but you get what I'm saying when I say it. Big alcohol is very upset with how many people have stopped drinking. And they're attributing a portion of that, which is probably true, to people who are getting high instead. And they're not happy about it. And I believe that the other senator from Kentucky who snuck this in on behalf of the big bourbon guys in Kentucky is why this got snuck in. And this is why omnibus bills are bullshit.
They called this something else. This wasn't an omnibus.
It's a continuing resolution.
Right.
But you added something new in it. I don't know. I don't know. You're right. I'm not sure. Omnibus is the phrase I was thinking of that came to mind. This is bullshit. This is 100% bullshit that in a bill that you've held American people hostage for the last 35 days. millions of Americans have been held hostage, not getting their SNAP benefits. We can argue about whether SNAP benefits are valid or not. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people were furloughed and out of work or being forced to work and not get paid. The airlines were starting to get a little wonky. There were people quitting, and in the aircraft control departments, as far as like airlines were starting to not be able to make flights because they didn't have air traffic controllers in, because those are federal employees who were not getting paid but are being told they had to work anyway.
Right.
You just held all this hostage for the last 35 days, and something that had nothing to do with anything about fuck all, somebody shoved into this who was going to vote for it anyway, but somebody snuck it in as some excuse for why he was going to vote for it. And now we have we basically have till November 12th, 2026 to make some functional correction to this. Or we have a complete redefinition of Obama's 2008 Farm Bill.
I was in a store earlier today just getting some beer, and it was one of the other customers that was talking about, I think he was buying some kind of pre-roll. I think they were, the store and the clerk or whatever were under the impression that they had till like January 1st to get everything off the shelf.
Good. Don't correct them.
I wasn't about to argue because I knew that something like this got snuck in, plus some other thing about senators being able to sue Justice Department.
Ooh, I hadn't heard that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know. Like I like at this point, I'm fucking done trying. I'm not going to try to be ready or prepare. I'm just going to run my business the way I've been running my business until somebody walks in the door and tells me I can't do that and shows me some paperwork on why.
Yeah,
I'm fucking done. I'm done trying to do things correctly.
Well, I think they mentioned that like they had gotten like the license, but I think they said that their owner wasn't going to renew the license just because it wasn't anything they were really making money on and didn't sell that much of it, so they weren't really going to bother with it.
Good. Fuck them. Like I need to stop talking about it on air. I need to be a more vicious fucking capitalist. I talk about the power of capitalism, and I sit here and share my fucking knowledge with all these fucking morons who don't try. All 37 normal listeners who probably don't own web stores. But like it's frustrating to say the least.
Right. Well, I applaud you for trying to stay on top of it, or actually staying on top of it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a vendor from North Carolina call me and be like, "Hey, can you give me what's the update on this?" I'm like, I was like, I'm not. I don't know. I haven't started looking at it yet. They're apparently having a meeting on Monday, and she wanted to sound smart at the meeting, so she wanted to pick my brain about it.
Right.
And I was like, I'll tell you what I know, but
it's not that much.
Well, actually, it was one of the salespeople. They texted me at like fucking 11 o'clock. Like, sorry for the late text, but I'd like to touch base with you tomorrow. Get your thoughts on what's going on. And tomorrow was Thursday of this week, which I dropped the kids at school, and we had Max and I had pulled the Catoosa for the Catoosa quota hunt, and I was like, I want to at least try to get up there. So I went up to the spot that we went to, parked right by our little campsite that was probably illegal.
Right.
I got a fun story to finish this with too. But anyway, I went outside out there, and I was like, I can text, but I'm not taking a phone call. I'm out in the woods. That's all I said. And she said, well, I hope you get one. It's like, all right, well, you got the inference of what I was saying, but I didn't say I was hunting, but okay.
Right.
And so
somebody knows they know. So like at that time of year.
Yeah. Sat there and enjoyed it. I brought my backpack with my computer, and I sat
out there. He's out there hunting, or he's out there moonshining?
Sent a couple emails and did some paperwork. Sitting in my chair. Didn't see shit. Got back in the car and was driving out. And as I was driving down the bigger road in the park, or in the wildlife management area, one of the TVRA trucks came cruising by the other way. And so I gave the obligatory, like just kind of raised hand wave, kept going, and not like normal. Like if I see a cop, I watch them in the mirror view, like while they're going away. But I just kind of looked back up a couple seconds later, and I saw that he was turning around. It's like, okay. So I kept cruising along. Comes back down, the lights are on. It's like, okay. So I'm pulling over, and I pull over. And he's like, hey, I'm officer whatever with TV. I was like, hey, buddy, how's it going? He's like, I stopped you because of your attire. I was like, okay. He's like, you hunting today? I was like, yeah. He's like, I can't remember what he said next, but it was just like, I was like, I got, I can pull my, he says, you got your permit with you? I was like, yeah, I got it on my phone here. I got it in the app. He's like, okay. I was like, I'm pull it up on the app here. Other officer on the other side sneaking up on the other side of the car, and I heard him, and I was like, God damn it, sneaking up on me, whatever. So apparently the rule is, and I didn't know this, and that's my fault. I was wrong. The rule is you're supposed to have your orange on as soon as you enter, and you're not supposed to take your orange off until you leave.
Huh.
Like I'm in my car
once you're in the wildlife management area,
right? Which I mean, I get the premise of it, but I'm in the fucking car,
right?
Like at that point, are we serious about it?
Am I in danger of being shot in my car?
Right.
Because I didn't have.
If somebody shoots me in the car,
it was moving.
Right. If somebody shoots me in the car and I don't have orange on, are they going to be excused for like thinking whatever? Yeah. And so like I go through the whole thing and I show him a thing. He's like, all right. I was like, and like just kind of shooting the shit in the process. It's like, yeah, like honestly, we'd forgotten we'd forgotten that it was this weekend. We got the email that said we got our quota. And then I had a bunch of other stuff going on and just kind of forgot about it. And this is the only chance I was going to be able to get out here. So I just came up for just a little bit today or whatever. And he's like, oh, that's a bummer. You're not going to be able to get back out. And I was like, okay. But he didn't say anything about like me not having orange on. Like he didn't give me the correction on why it was a problem.
Right.
And so I text Max. I'm like, I just got pulled over by TWRA. He's like, why? He's like, because my attire. And so I shot him a selfie. He's like, you don't have orange on. So apparently Max knew the rule and I didn't.
Huh.
But what I realized as I was pulling off, like they're like, all right, well, be safe, have a good day. And I was like, you guys be safe too. And as I was pulling off, I realized like both these guys
didn't have orange on. Yes, are they technically exempt?
And I'm like, it's like okay, like I get the premise. Like,
could you have gotten away with just having like an orange beanie on, or it's got to be chest and head?
I don't know because I didn't get it from them. Like like I mean, I like if you're like, in hunting rules, if you have your orange on, it's a certain number of square inches on your chest, on your back, and you're supposed to wear a hat. And it's like so maybe if I had my hat on, they would. I mean, if I had the hat on, he probably wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
But it's just like, come on, what are we doing? Like that. It's like and again, like you don't have orange on either, bruh. What are we talking about? Like, you think I'm like, I mean, I don't know what the harvest comes out of there normally. You think somebody's like sneaking in, like you thought it was like was it like you thought I was trying to sneak in and poach because I didn't actually get my quota?
Yeah, it's possible.
But, and so
the chances of somebody running into a TWRA officer.
It's pretty low, I agree. But at the same time, it'd be like, so you're pulling me over and I'm saying, yes, I'm hunting. No, I don't have a quota permit. Well, if I'm sneaking in, I'm like, no, I was just checking. Like, I love hanging out. This is a great, wildlife area. I like to come out here and watch the birds.
Right.
Just like if I'm trying to poach shit. But also, if I was trying to poach shit, I'd probably have my orange on because I probably would be trying a little harder to follow the rules and not calling any attention to myself.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems like it just
looked much like a city boy.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I drove by. I saw you had all your teeth. Thought maybe we should check on you.
Saw you smile, and I knew something was wrong.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm not mad at it at all. Like there's a few spots where I have issues with TWRA. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the idea that they want the right to just walk onto private property without consulting the owner. But at the same time, they're out there chasing off the people that are out there poaching and doing bad shit. So I'm good with their general existence. We can have our differences on certain opinions. I don't know. You got anything else on the more normal scene? I'm done with data centers. If somebody wants to come build a data center in Knox County, I'm good with it because it's your property. You do what you want. But if you get a millicent of subsidy for your power usage, you can get fucked.
That's what I think's really fucked up about it.
Yeah, like I mean,
they're getting incentivized to build them.
I mean, I'm not mad, but because there's no economic development. It doesn't. It's not like you build these multi-million-dollar data centers. You build a multi-million-dollar factory, you're employing a bunch of people.
Right.
You build a multi-million-dollar data center, you got like one guy there.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You build it, you pay your fucking utility bill. Or I don't know, that goes to a broader political issue to me. It's like we have to produce more fucking power. You want to help people? Lower the cost of energy.
Right, but the data centers are driving up the cost of energy.
Agreed. But I mean, just saying, but like if you want to support these data center builds, okay, lower the cost of energy.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, well, yeah, we're lowering it for them, not for everybody.
Yeah, because I mean, again, like I made the joke to Jesse earlier today because we talked about it on here, and I thought it was one of my more genius jokes. It's like if I were building a data center, I would figure out how I would have one scrap somewhere in the deep dark corners of that data center that has some data of national interest. Like I would do a contract. I would get a contract with SpaceX and be like, I don't want anything. I'm going to pay you guys X number of dollars a year just so that you can store 1 byte of something that says that it's SpaceX branded on it in my data center. So that when the power goes out for some storm or something that comes through, I can go to the municipality and be like, hey, you got to get me back up here because we got national security. You got to get my shit up and running so that whatever my data center actually does to make money gets back up and running and making me money faster.
Don't make me call Elon.
I'd be like, look, this is a national security issue. You've got to get my power back on now. Yeah, that mom over there that just had her baby who are, that don't have food and stuff and don't have, running water so that she can bathe herself or her kids or whatever that case. It's not as important as my national security issue. Fix it.
Yeah.
That's what I would do because I'm an asshole. I'm not an asshole, but that's what I mean. Like that's the incentive that they put in play here. So they got it. That's like we've got to get power cheaper and more consistent. Larsen, you want to get really unpopular? Start to get on my my buried utilities only. That's another one I think is the correct move. Like if I were the czar of Knox County, high tension, high power, fine, they can stay up there. Zero new permits from Knox County government to allow a telephone pole to go up anywhere. Period. You are not allowed KUB to put a new telephone pole up anywhere. You can replace ones in emergency or whatever, but any new lines run, you got to bury them. It's so expensive. Get fucked. Bury them. They're ugly.
I think it saved costs in the long run, but I don't know when that breakdown is.
Yeah, I don't care. That's where I'm at on the government part of it. It's like I don't care. I don't care if it saves you costs in the long run. For the good of the community, you need to bury it. It's more consistent. We have less outages. Less people get hurt when they run into them when we have an accident. Less people get hurt when the one gets knocked down in an accident and we have live wires on the ground.
Right.
All those things, I'm done with them. No more. And that's but that would also cost taxes, and we'd have to have tax money to do that. So, Betsy, figure out how to do that without raising taxes.
Cut that waste.
Call me, Betsy. We need to do this. Let's talk about it. I want to talk about all this waste and abuse and bureaucracy that's a problem, and how your super conservative predecessors, who you are you speak very positively of, how they failed. Please explain to me how they failed, because I want to know. I want to know how they failed and how you're going to do better, because they're losers and you're not. Get weird, bruh. Damn it. I'm going to full edit that one. Get weird, bruh.
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
What you got there?
Oh, I'm just looking.
I don't see it.
Oh, anything about this like 6-7 stuff?
Yes, I'm a parent. I have kids. Yes, I've heard about the 6-7 thing. It's maybe my favorite, most annoyed thing? Please, explain it to me. What is it? What is 6-7?
I don't think I've never heard any decent explanation, and apparently it's just kind of like a joke that it doesn't really mean anything. Is what I've
That's
been
the
told.
joke, which is why I love it, but I also hate it because the joke got me.
Yeah.
But then I also heard there's some devil shit in there.
I heard that. Apparently reaching 67 points is creating a 6-7 frenzy at college basketball games across the country.
Yeah. So apparently, like, some rapper put it in a song,
Yeah.
and apparently this rapper is a Rastafari? No. What was it? It was like a sub religion that I knew, and it might be Rastafari, or no? What's Santeria? He practices Santeria.
Not sure. I don't think it's voodoo, is it?
It's I don't know. It's one of those fringe whatevers. I don't know much about it, but anyway, he's apparently like a Santeria guy. That's like part of his shtick.
Huh.
And so, like, I saw some Bible guy kind of breaking this down about how, like, this was some, like, demon movement thing that they did. And really, everything that I've heard about it, and as I understand it, is that it was literally just kind of picked up and created into a meme just so that old people like me would be like, what the fuck is this 6-7 thing, kid? Which I totally did. It's like, hey, kids, tell me about the 6-7 thing. That being said, my kids are cool. And I say, hey, explain to me what this phenomenon is that I'm hearing about. And they'll be like, yeah, it's this. And so either they played the joke super well, or they just didn't understand what it was either. But that's funny that it's happening in basketball now. That makes total sense because you actually get to 67 pretty regularly in basketball. But I saw a great one in a football game. It was a freeze frame of a video in a football game where number 6 was in the foreground, number 7 was in the background to his left, so it read 6-7.
Right.
There was 6 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock, and the score was 6-7 at the time. And it was like, oh! I was like,
Somebody screen grab that.
Everybody, whoa! So, anyway, yeah. Anyway, is there any more to that story other than the 6-7 thing is weird and doesn't
Nah,
make
I
any
didn't
sense?
read into it.
All right.
Got a New York village no longer accepting email and phone complaints after being inundated online. Have a complaint about potholes or trash? Take it up at Village Hall. Just don't email or call.
That's rude.
Village in New York City suburbs is no longer allowing people to make complaints electronically after town officials say they've been besieged by online grievances that have turned out to be unfounded.
I mean, I could agree with the idea of, like, you can't... It's interesting. It's how we communicate these days, but I could get on board with the idea that you have to verify yourself as a citizen of that municipality. And when it's Billy Bob Johnson at gmail.com, that doesn't tell me anything. You can state in your email that I'm a resident of X. Like, I always get weird about it, like, which is fair. Like, it's not fair. I don't know. It's always weird. Like, when I was speaking before city council for that ordinance change, like, the rule is, like, the mayor says to you as you come to the lectern or whatever, she says, state your name and address for the record.
Yeah.
And, well, it's like, well, I'm not a city resident, so every time I went there, I was like, Seth Barber, Happy Howler Project, or the Pirate Tavern, or like something in the city was my reference for residents, because like, my address is irrelevant.
Right. Well, yeah, that was the matter that you were there before.
Right. You know, and so, or like when I spoke before county commission, I just said Seth Barber, Rocky Hill. I didn't give my street address because I don't really want to put my street address out there on CTV and
Exactly.
for the full public.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's a question. I mean, it's. I could get on board with them demanding it and be like, nope, you're not allowed to speak if you're not going to tell us. If you're not going to prove your residency.
Right.
However, I'd return that with like, well, I'll show you my ID, but I'm not putting that in front of the public.
Right.
I don't know. It's a fine line there. That at least to date in my interactions with it, I haven't really had the need to make a big fuss about it.
Yeah. No, apparently they were just getting a whole bunch of like spam complaints.
Yeah.
Apparently you can also send in certified mail.
I think, I believe, and somebody out there could probably tell me I'm right. I believe that the one of the things that all these great data centers and their AI LLMs are doing is that they're going and they're crawling the internet for available emails. Because out of nowhere, I've started getting really random. Like, you subscribe to this mailing list. It's like, no, I didn't. Like, I got like the Bengal News, which is some weird like the Louisiana sports like mailer.
Weird.
Like the LSU fired their coach, and here's who they're going to hire, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what, like, you know, like I know I am on the Space Force mailing list. You know, I know I am on a number of mailing lists, but like these are random. Like, yes, I'm a football fan. I enjoy the sports ball. Don't get me wrong, but like, where, like, what? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know how I got on the Babylon Bee. I'm on the Babylon Bee mailing list, and I don't remember signing up for that one.
Huh.
I assume that was one of you guys. I'm going to blame that on Max too.
Not I.
I'm not sure, but like I just like I truly think that there's a program in the AI sphere that's just out there being like, hey, I need 10,000 emails, and they'll just go out there and crawl for emails that are publicly available because hell, how many times have I said the almost agreement at gmail.com on here? You know, or if they're crawling the internet, they're going to go to the website, and the website's got almost agreement at gmail.com.
Right.
Or if you go to the what is, I think is what it's called. There's a directory of website owners that you have to, like, it's obliged by law. You have to, like, if you buy a domain name, you have to register, like, it's registered. And in the registration process, it has to register to a person or a company.
Yeah.
And so I have like 12 domain names that are registered to me in different email addresses, but like, you know, like my fucking inboxes are ridiculous. Anyway, it's crazy. But anyway, like I'm like, it's just out of nowhere recently, I've started all of a sudden getting some new, like, you've signed up for these mailing lists.
Got just the regular amount of spam.
Oh, man, I've gotten 3 spam phone calls during the while we've taped right now.
Really?
I'm like, it is relentless, and they're all like, most of them are loans, which it's like
loans.
Yeah, they want you like, oh, we can get you $55,000, and you're only going to pay $400 a month.
I get some that'll leave a voicemail, but it's just all I hear is like some weird, like, it's not really even like beeping, it's just kind of like static in the background.
I get constant, and they leave like legitimate voicemails. Like, for example, the one that I got just a few minutes ago. This message is from the loan department. We have a new offer of $55,000 in the form of an installment loan. Your monthly payment is estimated at $400. To talk with a funding advisor, please choose the option. That's one. 7:30 tonight. Your monthly payment is estimated to be $400. Talk to a funding advisor. Back at 6:30 tonight. Talk to a funding advisor. Back at 4:48 this afternoon. This message is from the loan department. We have a new $55,000 loan for you. We have a new $55,000 loan for you. 4:30 this afternoon. So between 4:30 and now, I've gotten 6 that have left voicemails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 today. Yesterday I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yesterday I got 12. I got 16 phone calls total yesterday. 12 of them were spam.
Yeah, I don't get that much.
Yeah, I do. But like I have the IRS has my phone number. The Tennessee Secretary of State has my phone number. The Tennessee Department of Revenue has my phone number.
Right, you're on many more lists.
Yeah, and I mean just on public lists, I'm on probably 20, and those all have emails that are attached to them too.
Right.
So, and I pay taxes to get this good fucking dope. Bullshit. God damn it. But I'm going to pay more. I'm willing to pay more taxes in the county at least. Because fuck you, Betsy Henderson. Fucking suck it. Again, it's an open invitation, Betsy. Come and tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where you're going to cut out of. Tell me what you're going to cut out of the county budget that is going to make enough room in the county budget to pay our debts. And I'll shut up. And I don't think you can do that, so I'm not really worried about you taking this call to action. So almost agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Maybe early, maybe late. We got to talk about that when we get out of the taping here. I will be in the woods, hopefully killing an animal or two to bring home some meat. Almost agreement, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Governments continue to suck, and we're going to figure out how to just keep complaining about it. I guess that's all we're going to do. All right, bye.